Good morning student. In this video we will read moral values chapter 1, the highest human virtue. Before going to the chapter, let's know what is moral value. What is moral value? Moral value is the worthy principles that one follows to distinguish the right path from wrong. What is moral value? Moral value is the worthy principles that one follows to distinguish the right path from wrong. It is worthy on building of character of individual. Honesty, love, hard work, truthfulness are some examples of moral value. Now let's read the lesson and understand what given in the lesson. The name of the chapter is highest human virtue. It means the most standard moral quality. The quality make a man morally good. Patience, patience, sincerity, empathy, courage. These are some examples of human virtue. Do you know who is considered as the best creation of God? Man is considered as the best creation of God. It is believed that God incarnated or God present on the earth in form of man. So we should commemorate him. So we should always remember him for this blessing on human beings, his mercy on all human beings. Now, can you say what is the highest human virtue? The highest human virtue is habit of taking God's name. For getting peace of mind and for the realization of true self, we should develop practice of taking God's name. To develop this practice, we have to be steadfast, means truthful. We have to be steadfast, regular, and develop our patience. We must boost our self-esteem. Self-esteem means self-evaluation. We must boost our self-evaluation, which recognize that we are pure soul, loved by God, and striving to do our best. Let's understand this value by reading a story, The Last Will. The Last Will is a story of rich old man, and it about those days when there were no proper means of transport. People used to travel on foot, on bullock cart, or on elephant, or on horseback. In those days, there was a rich man lived and who owned 19 horses. Suddenly he fell seriously ill, and all the physician, all the doctor who attended him said that his end has come. Means the old man may not live more time. So before his death, the rich old man made his last will and testament about the property. Testament means the written document that say what should be done with someone's property after his death. In the will, what he wrote? He wrote how the horses that he had that should be go to his only son, one fourth to the village temple and one fifth to the faithful servant. Soon after this, the rich man passed away. The village headman who were entrusted, the village headman who were given responsibility with the distribution work began to stretch their head in dilemma. They became in dilemma, they became in confused and stretched their head. They rubbed their head. They had no idea how to distribute half of 19 horses to rich man's son. So according to the will, what was the old man's son should be get half of the 19 horses. So all the village headmen who were entrusted, who were given charge to distribute, they became in dilemma. For next 14 days, headman remained in a dilemma. Horse, how to distribute the horses according to the will. Finally, a wise man from neighboring village was invited to come and solve the desperate problem. Desperate problem means difficult problem. Next, the wise man came there and asked the village headman how can he will help them. So the wise man came on next day and asked to the village headman how can he will help them. The villagers were delighted to see the wise man. Means when the villagers see the wise man, there is a little hope that rise in their body. They told him about the rich man's last will and testament. The wise man read the will thoroughly. Then he said, so out of these 19 horses, half has to go to his son, one fourth has to go to the village temple, and one fifth has to go to the faithful servant. What was in the will? Now the wise man said, it is very easy. I will solve your problem within no minute. Means he told that is a very easy. That is not so many so difficult problem as they described him, and he told he will solve the problem within a minute. Then he ordered to arrange all the 19 horses in a row, making them stand next to one another. And at the last, after this, he got down from his horse, and at the last he placed his horse next to the 19 horse. He counted all these horses. Now how many horses will be there? Now in total 20 horses, because 19 horses was of the old man and one of the wise man. Now there are 20 horses altogether. Then he counted half of these 20 horses, that is 10. He gave those horses to the old man's son. Then he said one fourth of the 20, that is 5, he gave it to the village temple. Then he said one fifth of the 24 he gave to the faithful servant. Now the wise man told, gentlemen, 10 plus 5 plus 4, that's become 19, and I distributed these 19 horses according to the will of the old man. And he mounted on his horse, spoke a few inspiring words, and silently rode away towards his village. The village headman became speechless because they were in dilemma, they were in confused, whereas the wise man came and in a moment solved their problem. They could not believe that the wise man solved their problem so gracefully and in no time at all. They were full of admiration for wise man's wisdom. They saw the respect of the wise man's knowledge. The wise man last speech had a great impact on village. When uh, in the previous paragraph we read the wise man spoke few inspiring words and silently rode away. The inspiring word that had great impact on the villager. They cherish and pass it to their coming generation. They liked the wise man's inspiring word and passes it to their next generation. The wise man's speech was, what was the speech? In your daily life and daily affairs, do not forget to add God's name before beginning any work, no matter how small it is. So what was the old man's speech? In your daily life and daily affair, do not forget to add God's name before beginning any work, no matter how small it is. Just take God's name and you will never come across any insurmountable problem, any difficult problem. Follow the principle of God in your daily life, all your problems will become smaller and finally they will disappear. So children, we should develop a habit of remembering God. Can you say how can we remember God in our day-to-day life? By showing gratitude towards God. Yeah, by showing gratitude we can remember God. How can we show our gratitude? We show our gratitude by means of prayer with true love, devotion, dedication. And most important thing, we should help the poor and needy people around us. Meditation is also a perfect way to divert towards God. But but without love and devotion, this is not possible, like a boat cannot sail on land. So we must have ocean of love, devotion and faith towards God to sail our life easy. When the and the heart is full of simplicity and holiness, then we become instrument in the service of God. In the busy world, in the busy life, we have no time for the God, but you think we live because of Him. So at last we should take a break from the busy schedule and for wonderful thank Him for wonderful life, the world we have. Thank Him for this beautiful world. So children, at last I can say we should develop a habit of remembering God by taking His name before beginning any work, that may be small or big, doesn't matter. By doing this, you show your love, respect, and devotion towards God, and so God helps you by removing your problem. This is the moral of the story. So, what is the moral of the story? We should always remember God, and we remember God by taking His name, and this is the highest human virtue. This is all about chapter 1, the highest human virtue.